Hi, welcome. If you're new to the channel, my name's Elliott and you're watching Rickety Ski Reviews. Today, after months and months of talking about this ski, I finally got my hands on the new 2025 Nordica Enforcer 99. Now, if you're new to the channel, you may not be aware of this, but previously, when I reviewed the 2023 Nordica Enforcer 100, which was the same as the 2024, I was very unimpressed with this ski. It's kind of a ski that I have a very checkered past with, but I'm going into this review completely honest, completely just fresh mind, open mind about the ski. So today I'm going to be reviewing the 2025 Nordica Enforcer 99. Now I reviewed these in a 185 length, which means they have a 18.5 meter radius, a pretty healthy splay in the tip, and a slight splay in the tail. I'd say it's pretty similar to the Maverick line. A very healthy amount of camber. Weight is fairly beefy. I would say that this is easily over 2,200 to 2,400 grams. I'm not sure exactly. This is a pretty new ski. This ski also comes with 2 sheets of Titanal and Nordica's Energy 2 Ti Pulse Core, which is basically a wood core mixed with an elastomer pulse core, which are then sandwiched between 2 layers of Titanal. This ski retails at $849.99, but obviously on sale you'll see it closer to kind of the $700 range on average. It just depends on when you buy it. Now this ski for the 2025 actually changed. If you know the history of the Nordica Enforcer, they went 10 years without changing it in a really meaningful way. That basically means 10 years of putting on different top sheets and kind of reselling it each year. Now they made some minor changes, but for the most part, the Nordica Enforcer was unchanged for basically a decade. It was very popular, and I think part of that was people just really liked the design and they didn't want it to go away. But I felt differently. When I reviewed the Nordica Enforcer 100 last year, I was very underwhelmed by it and didn't like it. I gave it a 6 out of 10. It was very just kind of dead. When you load it up, it wouldn't shoot you out of the tails. And it was a very controversial opinion because the ski was so loved and revered and had such a long legacy. But I, as always, gave my honest opinion. Since then, I've kind of made videos talking about the Nordica Enforcer, and I started to feel like I was a little bit crazy. Like, it was just like visiting Grandpa, and I was the only one that wanted to point out that his jokes were a little bit racist. That's what it felt like. Everybody just kept saying how great the ski was, and it was like, this is an old design. It feels long in the tooth. They haven't made any changes, and I don't love that the ski company got away with doing that to consumers for 10 whole years. Oh, well, it's just a new top sheet. They sold that same ski for 10 years to people, and not everybody knows the difference, knows if the ski changes or not. So, in my opinion, it wasn't a very pro-consumer move. And I've even gotten pushback from other ski companies who don't want to work with me anymore because I was so harsh with Nordica for doing this to people. But you know what? I just don't care. I'd rather be honest than have a lot of ski companies that want to send me skis. Maybe that'll change, maybe they'll come around. But as always, I'm going to tell you the truth about what I think, and I'm going to be honest. I've made memes, I've made jokes about the Nordica Enforcer, and I gotta say that Nordica deserves it. You can't sell the same ski for 10 years and do that to consumers and not expect a little bit of pushback. So I don't know why I'm bringing that up. I'm sure that's not helping my cause. It wasn't even Nordica, it was a different company. But I'm gonna call it like I see it. And in my opinion, I didn't love that Nordica was doing that to people. But now, let's talk about this Nordica in front of me. The Nordica Enforcer 100 from 2014 to 2024 is buried and gone. Let's talk about the 2025 Nordica Enforcer 99. I have to say, between basically the big changes that they put a little bit more rocker in the tail, they changed out the wood, specifically how they got a different wood supplier. I believe it's still that poplar wood. I believe the big changes from previous generations to this new generation of Nordica Enforcer, a little bit more aggressive rocker profile in the tail, and actually a slightly reduced rocker profile in the tip, while also adding that elastomer profile. They've got a different wood supplier. I think the wood is the same, but the consistency, or maybe it's the quality, but they changed something about the wood. I've also heard rumors that the cut and the shape is slightly different than the previous generations. I think that on paper, they look pretty insignificant, but I will say right off the bat, on snow, these are substantial differences. So like I always say, I'm gonna tell you guys when things are good, and I'm gonna tell you when they're bad. And let me tell you my first impressions. this ski is so much better than previous generations. This ski was a lot more fun. I really enjoyed this ski. It is a huge departure from the previous Nordica Enforcers. It keeps a lot of that same DNA, but it just feels like a modern ski. Say whatever you want about the previous generation Nordic Enforcers, but there's no denying that that was an old design. It was a very influential design, it was a very groundbreaking design back in 2014, but it was long in the tooth, and in my opinion, it didn't give you all of the energy out of the tail of your turn. This ski remedies that. I think between the elastomer core and the little bit of extra splay out of the tail, this ski really gives you a stable platform out of the end of the turn and allows you to take all of your energy and shoot out of the second half of the turn. So I was very impressed with these skis. I was very happy on them. They finally felt good and rewarding to carve on, and I just had a ton of fun on these. I have to say, like I always say, when I'll tell you the truth either way, you know, even if it makes me look foolish when I go around and say, when I give previous generations a bad score, I don't care if I look foolish, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I really, really enjoyed skiing on these. And you know, Nordica, I give you all the credit in the world. This is a fantastic ski. So now that we've talked about first impressions, let's talk about the good and then we'll talk about the bad. When it came to carving, these skis felt great. The biggest noticeable improvement is the rebound in the ski shape. So when you are carving, you're changing the shape of the ski. You're basically loading it and getting it to change shape. And that's how you make the arc in and out of the turn. What I liked about these skis is when you let go of that and change to your other downhill ski, the amount of elasticity that the ski had with rebounding back into its original shape was really good. The old ones would kind of stay dead and saggy. These ones rebounded into the next turn and were like ready to get more pressure again for the next turn. So it creates a much more responsive turn and a better feeling flex. The ski forms back to neutral much quicker than it did before. I also thought the ski did a much better job with its flotation through soft snow. It's definitely still in that kind of crud cutter category, but when I got into just a little bit of backcountry powder or little pockets that had kind of stayed hidden in the shadows, I found that the surf and kind of way that it rode on top of that snow was much more satisfying than it was in previous generations. I know that they put more splay in the tails, and I don't know if that allowed me to kind of lean back in a more comfortable spot, but it was noticeable and a very pleasant surprise. The key characteristic that I liked about the ski, especially taking it in spring skiing conditions, is that it really carries its weight through the snow. A lot of times skis, like one of my favorites, which is the Atomic Maverick, the area that really struggles is that Horizon Tech can get really caught up on heavier, stickier snow. And because this ski has those two Titanal sheets and kind of has more weight coming behind it, has more power when you kind of load up a turn, this ski charged through those choppy, mashed potato conditions much better than most other skis. So I was very happy in that characteristic. I like how it helped me carry my momentum through even the stickiest and choppiest of conditions. I'll also say one thing I don't see in a lot of 99mm with skis is that this ski is very flexible with its turn radius. It's allowing me to have some flexibility with the turn radius and just kind of like flex it. It's not, you know, super versatile with that, but for this width, I was very surprised by that. The other thing I really liked about the ski, it was a phenomenally stable platform. It was good if the snow was kind of washing away underneath me, it would still hold me in a really strong way. If you're carving, that downhill ski feels ultra stable. With previous skis, it felt stable, but it didn't kind of give me my energy back out of the turn. This feels stable without eating all of my energy and allowing me to arc from turn to turn. And as I said before, the biggest area of improvement for this ski in this new generation is just how much energy it can give you out of the end of the turn. I know some people kind of ski in a way where they throw their skis and just let it latch onto the turn, and it's pretty popular in the East Coast because it's so icy. But for me, I want to load the ski, be able to kind of get my energy at the apex and then get my energy back out of the tail of the turn, and this ski finally does that. It's not as good as like the head core or some of those other skis that doing it, but at least it's giving me an equal amount of energy as I'm putting in, which is finally something that kind of pieces the ski together in a really satisfying way. All right, now that we talked about the good, let's talk about the bad. And the bad is always the stuff that really seems to get under people's skin. This ski is so popular and I took so much heat for my review of the last one, but I stand by it. That previous generation had a lot of flaws and I'm gonna call them out. And similar to that ski, I'm gonna tell you about the flaws of this ski. Overall, this is a great ski. This was probably my favorite spring skiing ski. I've had other skis that I've been testing where the snow is good in the morning, but it gets kind of sun-baked throughout the day. We're kind of getting into that part of end of winter where it's getting baked a lot quicker, and this was the best spring skiing ski I've skied on yet. At least for the skis I've reviewed this year, this has been my favorite for spring skiing. But it's not without flaws, so let's talk about them. I only have a couple of complaints about the ski, but they're pretty minor, to be honest. I would say that where this ski struggles the most is with short hop turns. It can be a little sluggish. Obviously, these are big, beefy skis, so being able to kind of do those hop turns in close quarters when you have this wide of a width and this heavy of a ski, it does pretty good, but it is definitely on the sluggish side if you're looking for quick hop turns. I don't think that's what the ski is built for, so that kind of makes sense. But just so you know, if you're buying the ski, don't expect it to be perfect. It has some downsides. The last little nitpick, honestly, is that it has kind of different turn radiuses that you can do, like I talked about earlier, but it has a very ideal turn radius. And if you don't hit that ideal turn radius just right, with just the right amount of momentum, with just the right timing, it will wash out your tails just a little bit. It's not a lot, and it's not very hard to get this ski into that kind of perfect radius turn. But if you miss it because there's people on the trail, or you miss it because just the trail's fall line does something weird, you will notice a little bit of washing out in the tails. Now, in spring skiing conditions, I think that actually helps its performance a little bit, but just so you're aware, if you're on kind of like boilerplate corduroy and you don't get that radius just right, or while you're still kind of learning the ski, you will experience some of that tail washout. Now, when you kind of pin it and get that turn just right, it disappears completely. But it's a small downside, and for certain people who are maybe intermediate to advanced, you may find that annoying. But again, those are just two minor grievances, and overall, I'd say this performance was excellent. So now we've talked about the good, and we've talked about the bad, let's talk about the score. I will say that when the review for this came out, I don't get these skis right away because I get them from the demo shop, but I saw Ski Essentials video because I'd been tagged in a few comments of Ski Essentials YouTube video, and a lot of them were saying Elliott's gonna have a field day, and then, oh, there's all this bickering, oh, Elliott doesn't always talk about yada yada, whatever, I don't care about that. But Ski Essentials wrote, well, I hope Elliott will go into this with an open mind, with good intentions or something like that. And I will say, you know, it's fun to rib on the Nordic Enforcer of previous generations because they just milked that thing for 10 years. I mean, that was ridiculous. And I stand by what I said about that ski, but I gotta be honest, when a ski's good, I'm gonna tell you the truth. And as much as I might be eating crow or putting my foot in my mouth, I don't care. I'm gonna give you my honest opinion about this ski, how it skied on the day that I skied it. And to be honest, I really enjoyed this ski. I don't think I've had a better ski on spring skiing conditions, and I could see really liking this on the East Coast as well. If I was on the East Coast, I'd probably get a more narrow width, but overall, I had a blast on these skis, and I was very pleasantly surprised. So maybe you can make fun of me, maybe maybe the skis I got before were bad, but I honestly really love skiing on this, and I'm not gonna hide that from you guys. I'm gonna tell you the truth, good or bad, even if it makes me look foolish. And that's okay. But for me, this ski way outperforms its previous generations. It also outperforms a lot of skis in its category for just how well it creates a stable platform, for just how well it skis in those wet or hard or slushy conditions. This ski was just an absolute blast. I really like this new generation of Nordica Enforcers. I don't feel like it's dead anymore. It's giving me energy out of the tails of the turn, and it's also reforming so much quicker than it used to. So for me, personally, as somebody who is not sponsored, who's not paid by Nordica, Nordica won't even reply to my emails because they didn't like my first review, but that's okay. I'm gonna give you my honest opinion. And as somebody who paid for this demo today, I have to tell you that this ski is 9 out of 10. It's really good. I don't know that I would get it for really soft powder days, and I wouldn't really want to take it in the trees because I like to find powder in the trees. It's not that ski, but for getting through hard conditions, for taking it on the groomers, for having a ski that you can take anywhere even when the snow is bad, this ski is absolutely amazing. So for me, it's a 9 out of 10. That's just how it is. I don't care if you guys think I look foolish. I'm just gonna be honest and go ski by ski of every ski I try. So yeah, this ski is a 9 out of 10. I would highly recommend it if you are somewhere that gets wet and choppy snow, that gets kind of that sun-baked snow, or is on really hard, packed, chattery snow, I think this ski does an amazing job. It doesn't feel like a 99 width. Between 102 and 96, somewhere in there, is usually my least favorite width ski, and this is my favorite ski in that width. It just carves well, it performed well off the groomers. It doesn't do good in the short, kind of quick tree turns, but I had an absolute blast on this ski, and I'm gonna be honest with you. Things change. I always say this, you can think that you know a ski brand or you have a good opinion or a bad opinion, but one thing I've always found is I just have to go and try it each year when it changes, because I'm often surprised, and I think if you want the best ski every year, you have to be willing to give up brand loyalty and have an open mind. So this is me being vulnerable, this is me having an open mind, and this is me telling you that the Nordica Enforcer 99 for the 2025, I would not buy a 2024, but for the 2025 is an absolute ripper. This is a solid 9 out of 10. It loses some points for its inability to make quick turns. I just think with the way winters are going, you have to be able to go off trail into the woods, like in the bramble, at least for where I ski. And I think that some of that washed out radius still needs a little bit of fine tuning on Nordica's end, but overall, this is an absolutely beautiful ski, and I like it a lot. I'm not sure what is fixing it, if it's an issue with the wood. Maybe I got a bad pair. You know, Bodie Miller was talking with Peak about how some of the skis they get, you know, like they need to be recalled. Maybe I got on a bad pair. I would guess that it's probably a combination of that Elasticore, that Pulse Core elastomer, mixed maybe with a better quality of wood. But overall, I was very happy on these, and I would recommend them. Especially if you're looking for a crud cutter ski, this is the best crud cutter I've been on so far. So anyway, if you found this review helpful, I will put an affiliate link down below. If you're dead set on buying it, use that link, it helps support the channel. But don't feel pressured to buy something, that's not what I'm trying to do here. I'm just trying to give you my honest opinion about skis. If you like this kind of content, please consider liking and subscribing. That's a free way to support the channel, or you can become a member on our homepage here on Rickety Ski Reviews and join the membership, get some perks, and directly support the channel. But that all aside, more than anything, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. I know that you guys take time out of your day to watch my videos, and that means a ton to me. And if you're a new watcher, I hope you found this review helpful. I know it can be hard to find info on skis by people who aren't sponsored or who aren't selling anything. And I hope that this gave you an idea of what the skis feel like. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. See ya.